What's up, guys? Go back to our video where we just got Hawkeye episode 3 and it was amazing. It gave us more action, and with the Kingpin as they were taking down the Tracksuit Mafia, including that epic car chase, and it gave us more of Echo as the episode focused more on her, and we actually saw some cool Easter eggs in this episode as well, and it kind of like I think the last two episodes were like okay, but I feel like this episode was like awesome, and we even maybe got a tease of Kingpin in this episode, who was totally gonna be coming in later episodes. Kingpin played by Vincent and D'Onofrio, and then there's also some cool Easter eggs in here as well, including that ending that totally sets up for one spot to go down, and it's gonna be nuts. So in this video, this will be my breakdown for Hawkeye episode 3. But if you have not seen the episode yet and you're trying to avoid spoilers, click away now. But if you're still here and you don't care, let's get into it. So Hawkeye episode 3 opens up with like Echo back in her childhood. So this is most likely Echo's backstory in when she was a kid and she's in a classroom full of kids, and now like they're all prepared, but like with the Echo she couldn't understand anything to write things down, and like with this like she tries to do like American Sign Language because Echo doesn't have like a very good hearing, and then the teacher comes over and she's writing and tells Maya, aka Echo, to like pay attention, so that she might be struggling in school because she's still learning American Sign Language, which we see later in the beginning of the episode, which her and maybe her dad is teaching American Sign Language so that Echo can understand more of it. Then we see Echo as she's in her karate class and ready to take some kids on and to take them down, and then her instructor says that they can go on like a water break, and then we see Echo there and her father they're telling her that she needs to be good in class today, and then we see the biggest tease of Kingpin as he is big and huge, and he's wearing a suit, and this is probably not like the white dark suit, but he definitely has like Kingpin has totally a different suit. So this is probably is a dark suit, but I think this is definitely a tease for Kingpin, but we don't see his face. We don't see Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, like we don't see his face, but this is definitely a tease for Kingpin coming and Hawkeye in a bunch of like later episodes. Then we see Echo all grown up as she's in training to be a fighter. She's in the Pentagon for fighting someone. And then we can see that her right leg is like broken. She doesn't have like a right leg, just like a fake leg. We can also see that again, like when she is fighting a kid in her karate class with the same thing. Maybe like she maybe injured her leg in her childhood, but like we can also see like on like Echo all grown up that she has like a broken leg while trying to fight somebody. Then, as we see Echo arriving at a building, we can see the words "Fat Man Auto Repair," and plus this is another sign and hint to Kingpin if he's in charge of the Tracksuit Mafia. If Kingpin is the one responsible behind all this, even for the murder of Jack's uncle Armand, or if Kingpin is the actual villain of the series, but like we don't know. But we'll wait and see. But this is definitely a tease and hint to Kingpin with the words "Fat Man Auto Repair." Next, we see Echo pulling up towards like a building, and then she sees chaos going on as we see Ronan just like killing like a bunch of people, and then she goes inside the building, and then like she sees Ronan again fighting people, and then we see Echo going to her father, like seeing that Ronan killed Echo's father, and then like Echo's father already died, but because in the Marvel comics, Kingpin actually killed Echo's actual father, and then Kingpin stepped in to be Echo's actual stepfather, which is kind of weird, but like it was a sign that like Ronan actually killed Echo's father, in which we see Kingpin later in the episodes. Then we see Kate and Clint from where we last saw them in episode 2, where they got captured by the Tracksuit Mafia, and we see the Tracksuit Mafia interrogating them. And then we see the entrance of Echo and Cassie, and now Cassie in the Marvel Comics is an assassin, while Echo is trying to interrogate them. Then we see Echo trying to use some American Sign Language on Clint to find out about the Ronin suit, and obviously Clint can obviously hear Echo that well because Clint still has his hearing aid, but with Echo she is like American Sign Language and Clint asking him about the Ronin suit, about like Kate in the Ronin suit, about what we saw in the last 2 episodes. And Cassie tries to help translate of what like Echo is saying about like the Ronin suit, and like just because like the Ronin's on the suit doesn't mean the Ronin's back, and Echo just keeps asking like Clint questions about the Ronin suit, and we hear a mention of Black Widow. Then we hear Clint saying that like Kate put on the Ronin suit by accident. She is now worrying about what he's referring to is the last two episodes when Kate was putting on the Ronin suit at the auction to take down the tracksuit mafia that broke into the auction, at which Kate was Ronin, at which the Ronin suit is still out there, at which Clint did retrieve the Ronin suit. Then we see Kate and Clint trying to get away from the tracksuit mafia, obviously trying to get away from them. And then we see the most epic fight scene between Echo and Clint, at which Clint's hearing aid falls out, at which Clint loses his hearing, and then Echo immediately squashes it and smashes it, which is totally horrible. And then we see more of them fighting, and then Clint shooting an arrow at her, and then we see the most epic thing with Clint jumping in a spiral, trying to kill one of the bad guys, the tracksuit mafia, trying to shoot an arrow at them, and then it worked, trying to set Kate free from the handcuffs, and then they finally get away from the tracksuit mafia. Then we see Kate and Clint as they're finally getting away and as they escaped from the tracksuit mafia, as they try to get in the car, as we hear some light little Christmas music to go along with it, as little Christmas vibes, and then we see them trying to escape from the tracksuit mafia, at which in this epic car chase, we see the parallels go back and forth in this car chase, which is pretty cool. It was Kate and Clint, they're trying to communicate. With Clint, he can't obviously hear very well, but he can obviously hear somewhat well as he's trying to communicate with Kate, because he has hearing aids smashed by Echo while they were fighting, and then Kate tried to use the arrows to try and stop them, and then one of the arrows has a Play-Doh arrow, and then Kate shoots an arrow into a van that says "Trust a Bro," and then it blows up. This is saying that Kate says he has 4 more arrows, but more dangerous than that one, but because I thought the MCU Clint had so many dangerous arrows, so many cool arrows that use to stop the big bad guys in the MCU as Hawkeye. Then, as the car chase continues, we can see Echo is trying to catch up to Kate and Clint as they're on the bridge, and the cars are side by side. This is actually the same thing from the Marvel comics as well, as Kate is trying to use the trick arrows to try and stop them, and then as a work, and Kate and Clint crash, and then we see Kate and Clint trying to use more arrows to try and stop the tracksuit mafia, including for Cassie as well, and then we see the most awesome Easter egg ever, with Clint using an arrow that has at the end of the word Pym on it, at which one of Clint's arrows is actually been made of Pym tech. It is actually a flashback to probably Captain America's Civil War, which we saw Hawkeye and Ant-Man, and which Hawkeye shot Ant-Man on an arrow, which at a point Scott Lang and Clint Barton were on house arrest at the time. Then, as we see Kate and Clint shoot their arrows at the same time, and with Clint's pentatic arrow, it touches the other arrow, becoming a bigger arrow, and then actually killing one of the tracksuit mafia and Cassie too. This is also a reference to the airport battle in Captain America Civil War, when Ant-Man asked Captain America to throw the pin button at the toy truck. The thing, it was a water truck, but it was actually becoming fire, which was also a reference to that, which is also a nice little Easter egg of Pintech. Then we see it's snowing in New York City, and then we see an advertisement of Rogers the Musical on the billboard, which we also saw in episode 1 and the beginning of episode 1, when Clint and his kids attend a showing of Rogers the Musical, which was pretty cool. And then with the Clint back at Kate's apartment, with Kate and Clint back at Kate's apartment, we see that we thought it was a lord trying to contact Clint, but it was actually one of Clint's sons, Nathaniel, trying to reach him. With like Clint trying to hear what he is saying, and of course he doesn't have his hearing aid. It was smashed by Echo. He was trying to hear of what he's saying, which was kind of heartbreaking, which like Kate had to translate of what Nathaniel was saying. As I said, it was kind of heartbreaking, saying if he'll be home for Christmas and they're gonna do like any Christmas festivities together. Then we see Echo and Cassie having a conversation with Cassie doing American Sign Language on Echo, saying that how of a dangerous situation that they are, and they are supposed to keep a low profile. If they keep doing this, they keep going after Ronan so that their uncle won't find out. And now with Cassie mentioning the word uncle, this is obviously the biggest reference and tease to Kingpin. And as we saw in the beginning of the episode, we see a Kingpin in Echo's childhood. Back in Echo's childhood and Echo's backstory in her karate class, which is like the biggest tease of Echo, and with like Cassie mentioning, uncle. This is obviously the biggest reference to Kingpin. So this is definitely a setup for Kingpin coming in the Hawkeye series. Next, we see Kate and Clint sitting outside of a Chinese building, probably a doctor trying to get Clint's hearing aid fixed, and then behind them we can see the words like Happy New Year 2020, or it just like finishes off. This is coming from an actual set photo from the Hawkeye series, in which it reads Happy New Year 2025, in which the Hawkeye series, this series is actually taking place like 2 years after Avengers Endgame, like 2024, so maybe the Hawkeye series is set in Christmas 2024, leading into the new year 2025, and then we see them getting help from a doctor to get Clint's hearing aid fixed, and she said it'll take them like 5 minutes, and then we see Kate and Clint in a diner, in which like Kate is trying to say something to Clint, but like Clint doesn't actually hear her, and then we see Clint finally have his hearing aid back, and finally actually working. Then, as we see Kate and Clint having a conversation together at the diner, we hear Kate actually mention that her father tries to help people, which is also a reference back to episode 1, the opening scene from when Kate was a kid, from when her father, the Derek Bishop, died, in which she needed to become a superhero, in which Hawkeye inspired a lot of people. And with Clint saying to Kate, with being a superhero, that comes with sacrifices, and it comes with a price, and with Kate actually listening to that, like she tells Clint that he needs a more recognizable costume. And then we hear Clint saying that how he would never wear a flashy costume, that how his wife would divorce him if he would ever put this on, and that his number one job is to be a ghost, and that he's never supposed to be a role model to everyone. He said that to Kate, and which Kate tried to prove them wrong, and he said that Clint is like a role model. He left his family at Christmas. And that's where Kate and Clint met, when Clint tried to say Kate as Ronan tried to fight the Tracksuit Mafia, in which like Clint was trying to be like a father figure to Kate, in which like maybe like Clint was wrong about that. Then we see Kate and Clint in a taxi together, at which Kate is mentioning how Jack is involved with the murder of Armand, and how Jack offered Kate a butterscotch with the words Armand III, which triggered Kate, also reference back to episode 2, and how should she like mention that they need more evidence, at which they're gonna go back into Kate's mom's penthouse to gather more evidence from the bishop's security, and get all the files and evidence that they need. So they're gonna hack into the Bishop files. Then the episode ends with Kate and Clint trying to go into the Bishop files in Kate's mom's penthouse to try to figure out who killed Armand, and they search into the Bishop files database, and then we can see the name Cassie, also an employee, with the words Salon Limited, which Clint knows that place is familiar, in which they're gonna go there to get more evidence. And then, right as so, Kate and Clint get busted by Jack holding up the Ronan sword against Clint. With Hawkeye episode 3, they definitely packed like so much more, including a lot of action, including more involvement of Echo, as we got to see her backstory, and that tease of Kingpin, which we're probably gonna see in a bunch of later episodes as well, and that was like a big tease. And like Cassie also mentioned Uncle, which is a few references to the Kingpin. So also like we also got a ton of references to Kingpin, and a tease of Kingpin, who is also gonna be appearing in the next couple of episodes as well. with this episode ending on like a twist with Kingpin getting busted by Jack with the Ronin sword. I think we're in for like a wild ride with then like the last 3 episodes of Hawkeye, and with Echo and with Yelena Belova possibly showing up in the next couple episodes as well. So that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and what are your thoughts on Hawkeye episode 3? And give me a rating between 1 out of 10. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe and turn on notification bell for future videos. And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter for live updates. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.